The moment somebody gets a sense of change, they open, I think, because we want change.
Time is an illusion, and everything in consciousness, they're just light waves that are just formless. They're just particles. And if you bring in the energetic beings that we are, which is our essence, that brings the reality into the present moment right now.
So this is a really interesting topic. This is something that you may be starting to see on your Facebook page, on different groups that you're part of. And I just really wanted to bring this to you. So this was, our guest. Her name is Charel Morris, and she's a trailblazer. We'll just put it that way. She's a quantum energy healer, and she's a spiritual guide. And so what she does is she weaves together the wisdom of ancient practices with cutting edge technology. So this is going to get really interesting. Charel, I think the first question, because this is about quantum awakening and the science and spirituality of quantum thought. So quantum thought is a new concept for probably a lot of people that are listening tonight. You might have heard about it. It's hard to get your head around it. But first of all, I want you to share with the audience who you are and how, your journey to become a shamanic healer started and what drew you here.
I've been in this realm for 40 or 50 years. I did 20 years in the film industry, and that led to a spiritual awakening. But in fact, it was understanding the healing and understanding how to work with people in the most difficult points of life. We worked with people with AIDS early on. And when I started getting a sense of this quantum thing, I didn't know what it was, but I've realized it is literally what will bring our world into its next major shift. And I realized that the word was there, quantum was there. I have a street down that way from me, quantum. So it's everywhere. I tease people about having quantum pancakes, but the fact is we don't understand a lot of the basics because I'm not science-based. I don't know if anybody else here considers themselves science. Kathy is a bit, because she talks quantum science to me from time to time. But I had this inner purpose to start showing people how quantum fits in their life. What is the shift? What is the difference? And it's everyday stuff. It's consciousness. It's understanding that collaborating is one of the things that will move our world forward. Collaborating not just with each other, but collaborating with the animals, the fish, the earth. There was a wonderful thing that came through Facebook today of this Asian area where they've realized that they can raise fish in the same place they raise rice. And so that's like getting major food and all of that goodness, because they're collaborating with the earth. They're collaborating with the rice and the fish. And the fish and rice take care of each other. I don't think that would have ever dawned on me before. But that's what started me on this pathway. Quantum energy has been around the earth since the beginning. Back 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, Buddhists, shamans understood quantum. And then it basically, as science became science and the church became the church, quantum got dropped out, sort of, you might say. And it's come back in the last couple of 100 years. And it's that it is a different way that energy works. And everything is energy. In the realm of quantum, some of the things have to do with our own consciousness. And in my research, between science fighting with the church 500-600 years ago, quantum just got dropped out because quantum required the church or the spirituality. And so we know now that all the things we're doing with energy and science, it's all going through the quantum field because that's what it is. They may or may not understand why. For us, I think understanding that there is a way to understand the importance of observing something, and that in observing something, you are acknowledging it, you are lifting it up, you are creating something possibly. And it's all very kind of hidden, even in science. They do not understand it. They just know it works. And that's what they present, that it works. It is the energy we live in.
I was going to say, can I help put it more into the physical context?
Yeah.
If you think about macro and macro would be the big picture, our universe, our solar system, all of that. Quantum is the minor, it is the molecular. And when we go down to the very smallest particle of everything, it's energy. And that's what the quantum field is that energy field that cannot be dissected. It cannot be separated. It is integrated within everything.
So that's where the soul comes from, right? It's that the concept of the soul. So your soul is energy. So when someone passes away, their soul is returned to the energy field. Their body is returned to the earth.
Yeah.
That's simple?
Well,
A simplified way.
Okay, good. That's what we need. We need easy on the brain.
So I want to bring in the quantum consciousness. I mean, like I've had clients who I've worked with in hypnosis where we went to afterlife and interlife to heal their soul. And there's what they call holographic healing or holographic universe. So in the quantum field, there is the quantum consciousness, and there are 4 aspects in quantum consciousness. So there's the creator effect, the entanglement, and the everywhereness, and the holographic healing. So the soul, that what we do in hypnotherapy, we go past life regression. So there are specific patterns in this consciousness right now that is repeatedly happening, or a karmic cycle that we're experiencing. Say, for example, we go through all the way back to the past life in the holographic healing, in the quantum consciousness. And that's where we check in the interlife or the afterlife to merge and bridge the gap of the science, the consciousness, and the present moment to heal that part of them that has been repeatedly, happening, or that they're going through, that they can't pinpoint, no matter what the psychological part of it or the energetic part of it. So through quantum consciousness, quantum healing, we actually are able to guide clients to heal that soul part. So I always believe that the past lives are integral in helping someone's life to feel that sense of fulfillment in this lifetime.
So would we be like just a really simple visual? Are we little balls of energy, and we're all bouncing around in this ether? I don't know where we're bouncing around, but just even all around us, right? And that's why sometimes people can see manifestations of somebody who's passed, right? It's, your ghosts and things like that, because they're able to take that their energy and make a familiar form. Or
Basically, we're here, and you may or may not be able to step outside of who you are in this moment to see something else. You have the ability, and doing healing, but to try to get it that it only happens a certain way, I think will be frustrating.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And I just wanted to say that a few hundred years ago, scientists in an ability to understand our physical world concentrated on the physicality of everything. And it cut off our connection with the energetic, the spiritual, the vibrational part of us. And we only concentrated on the physical. And so now that we're understanding that we're both, people are struggling because we were told we were only one. And now we're starting to be told, no, it's not either or, it's both.
So we've got these particles, like these little balls of energy, and they come in particles and waves, if I've read this correctly when I've been trying to figure it out. And they can be in multiple places at once. So that's why there's talk about how our energy can be manifested, in 1,000 different bodies around the world, or 100,000. Maybe there's only 4 of us, 4 little balls of energy, and we're all over the world living different lives and different timelines, future, past, present.
Well, we can be both places at the same time.
And do you think dreaming is part of that? Do you think dreaming is part of that? We're bouncing around in some of our dreams that seem so real. Like, I've been there before. I know these people, who are these people? That's kind of strange, or you think that, I have a lot of dreams where I feel like I'm a spy, and I'm, in one of the wars, and I'm hiding, from the enemy. And where does that come from? Could that possibly be our energy manifests in a different life, a different time? I mean, Cray, you were talking about past lives.
Yeah. It could also be a movie you saw recently, because we don't know.
So are we ever going to know? Is this one of these mysteries of life?
Do we need to know, or do we just need to play with it?
I think the controllers, people who like to control their destinies, would want to say, we want to know everything about it. We want to find out exactly how it works. But it sounds like it's more like there's an interconnectedness of everything. We talked about this before the show started. And it's like we're dancing. We're forms of energy dancing and connecting and constantly changing. But when we do something is it affecting something in the future, something in the past, something in the present? Like everything we do is connected.
Yeah.
Like we're thousands of miles apart probably, but every breath we take is connected to my breath is connected to Kathy's breath, is connected to Cray's breath, is connected to Charel's breath. Is that right?
Yeah.
I want to bring in to Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, how he emphasizes about time is an illusion, past and future is an illusion. And I would relate it to quantum physics, right? The entanglement theory, where everything is connected. Electrons, protons are all interconnected, interwoven together. If we're all in a theory, energetic beings, and everything is electrons and photons that are all interconnected together. So time is an illusion, and everything in consciousness, they're just light waves that are just formless. They're just particles. And if you bring in the energetic beings that we are, which is our essence, that brings the reality into the present moment right now, which will be related to the manifestation, is what they call it, right? Like the law of attraction, how we put it that way. So when you say past, present, and future, yes, it's relevant in terms of soulful healing, which I've seen so far, but it's still the consciousness that's working through how our brain detects it. I'm bringing in the biological essence of it, but in the theory itself, it made so much sense that time is an illusion, because the future and the past, where does that happen? In the now, right? Nothing else matters but in the now. The moment that you wake up and you choose to say, today is going to be an amazing day, you choose to create an energetic resonance to that quantum consciousness, that quantum field, and you charge that energy towards that field, and you attract that energetic of amazingness, of that joy, of that kindness or love, then that becomes a ripple effect of your field, and that becomes your reality. So I believe future and past is an illusion, but the now is just the moment that really matters most. So Eckhart Tolle have really stated that really well in The Power of Now, and that creates a lot of aliveness and presence and connectedness to each and every one of us.
I love how everyone is having different perspectives here. There was, in the Heart Math Institute, there was a case study that I love to share, which is of a child who was murdered. And the child's heart was transplanted into another child. The memories and everything of that child were in the cells, and they were transported and received by the recipient. The recipient child was so aware of how the victim was murdered that they caught the murder only from the evidence that she was able to give. That's how much that energetic gets imprinted on the physical cells of our being.
Is that why, for instance, I think we all, if we know our ancestry, we know of family traumas throughout the generations. And I had like so many greats, 7 great grandfathers ago, but his parents and siblings were all massacred. And this was in the early days. So the settlers were encroaching on the indigenous lands, and I have indigenous heritage as well. So it's very strange that it's kind of come full circle that a 7th great grandfather was massacred, but he wasn't massacred, his whole family was, but then he was captured, and he remained a prisoner for many years, it's told, and then he had to run the gauntlet to survive. And that trauma of that must be handed down
Mhm.
through the energy field of the family, correct?
If there's somewhere there that it's connected to you as you came in this time, then it's part of what you have come here to learn or heal or release. And it will find you. I do believe. And
Are we here to release those types of things in the energy field? Let it go, let it go.
depends on the person.
Yeah. It sometimes I have clients who are not really aware that they're experiencing this, that they have this generational trauma that is repeatedly happening. It's affecting their daily lives, their relationships, the way they cope up in stressful moments, or the way they want to move life. And say, for example, with my personal experience, I went through past life regression. I jumped through 5 lives. And those 5 lives, I didn't expect I could go in those times. And I felt it emotionally in my heart rate and how those lives transpired in those timeline. And I saw specific patterns that I'm experiencing in this lifetime that was also experienced in that one life. And it brought me a lot of awakening and enlightenment, where I was able to nourish that part of me and accept it fully, so I could encourage or allow change or let go, as what Charel said, and become non-judgmental as to why I'm actually feeling that way, and not feel that something's wrong with me, but it was from the past.
Did the ancient cultures understand this? Because I'm starting to sort of see, because of this interconnection, and that our thoughts and emotions, right, influence the reality, that you've got things like the power of prayer. And we've all heard of stories where, somebody is miraculously cured, right? Because people stand around them and pray. So that this positive energy going out, this high vibrational energy going out. But then if you think about it, things like child sacrifice in ancient cultures, or I that's one thing I can think of, but that's to me, that would be very negative. That would be, and it's putting negative energy out. Is that where good and evil come from?
We live in a universal world of polarity. Everything has an opposite, and it requires the opposite to have a charge. So we cannot have positive without negative. We cannot have love without hate. We cannot have we cannot have light without the darkness. Everything must have an opposite in order to exist.
It's usually us. I mean, Kathy's right on point here. When you think about it, and some plane flies out of the air and kills however many people, especially if you're living in a Christian area, then there's this, why would God let that happen? God didn't let it happen. It just happened. We're determining what's good or bad, because we have both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to have both sides. It's deciding who's responsible, where I think we usually make our biggest mistakes. I saw a thing recently on how many men who have been arrested for rape in prison for decades. And as we have now more technical ways to say, is this the person? They're being released, as should be. But now the girl or the woman who was raped is being made wrong. we have this tendency as a human to have blame somewhere. And when you look at a lot of native tribes, indigenous tribes, they don't quite play the same game. I'm studying now the work of the Incas at 18,000 foot altitude that have never been really affected by the Western culture out of Europe. And they have a very different way of looking at life and healing. It's astounding. As a shaman and learning their work, I'm being taught by shamans of the future and the past. Myself, when I'm doing my inner work in this, I'm aware that their teachers who lived 2,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago are still, that energy is still coming through them to teach. And the same thing for future. So, you know, this is a place that doesn't have electricity. They just have been able to maintain the magic of their work. It's pretty astounding. And we have a need to judge in our culture.
Mhm.
Kim, I just want to talk about Dr. Joe Dispenza. I just watched his newest documentary called The Source, and he is now getting doctors and physicists who are proving that we can access the quantum field through our thoughts, our vibrations, our emotions, our meditations, and we can immediately change the cellular structure of disease in our bodies.
With my personal experience, I've healed naturally, self-healing my autoimmune disease through meditation. And one of the things at that time when I discovered what was his book, Dr. Joe Dispenza, about the pseudo consciousness, I believe. I think I came across that like 10 years ago. Just a few pages of the book that really sparked something inside me. And I started meditating, and every day I have a very agitated consciousness or mind because of my autoimmune disease is restless. And every time I meditate, I envision myself, what would it look like to be in a neutral state? What would it feel like for me to be connected in my body? Because I'm always in a survival instinct mode where I have to fight or fly away from my body. So in my mind, it's a place of solitude where it's like a projector. I was looking into my mind every single day. So I tried, trial and error, try again. I can't sit in for 5 minutes. And then I tried again. And I knew in that 5 minutes when I'm trying to resist, it's working because I was consciously seeing my body and I'm connecting with my body. Oh, it's itchy. I knew that I am getting conscious enough that, okay, I'm in it. And then until I got addicted to being in that state, to 5 minutes to 15 minutes every day. And I saw how my body, when I say, okay, relax, I found my body in a very like low blood pressure. I used to sit down, just sit down. My blood pressure was 160 over 100 without doing anything. Through meditation, I really created a time for me to sit still. And in that meditative state, I felt at peace. I found in the awareness of my thoughts and in my body without judging it. So I can say Dr. Joe, I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I wanted to go to his retreat too, because all of his discoveries have affirmed the work that I've been doing for myself. So it's absolutely possible to bring your nervous system back again through just meditation and visualization.
I would like to share in terms of aspects in healing. I was also trained, excuse me, in scalar waves, which are a whole other realm. And it's the waveform in quantum, a waveform in quantum. working for the wonderful Disney film. I had a bad fall and broke my ankle, and other things got messed up. Their doctor decided I did not need to have my foot taken care of. So I had an ankle that was broken and calcified over after a month and a half, with everything still mangled, and walking was very painful. And I went to my own doctor, and he said, we're going to put you in a cast and you shouldn't move and all this. And I worked with scalar waves, just seeing them. And 3 weeks later, we went back to check and see if anything was working. And now the calcification was gone. All of the tendons and muscles were back in place, and my ankle had reconnected. And my doctor was like, do I want to know what you're doing? And it was like, happy to tell you, but
Where does cutting edge technology play a role in this quantum awakening?
wherever it wants. There are
We can measure the energy, right? Can we measure our energy?
Mhm.
Like, can we have something that will, like an app that can measure our energy?
If we don't have one, I'm sure they'll have one by next week. As apps, I'll let you know when I get DEF CON.
Do you know that everything is in vibration? And the other day I saw a video where someone had taken 2 clips that were connected to a speaker and connected it to a leaf of a cherry tree. And the music that came out of the cherry tree,
Yep.
just from the vibrations,
Huh.
and it was being transmuted into sound, and it
Mhm.
was beautiful.
I was gonna say, like, bringing into like the ECG and EKG, right? Those are vibrations of our body that's already being measured in hospitals. If you think about it, if you widen that scope in the same concept, it's already being measured. It's just that not fully seen enough of the vibe, maybe the aura photo, right? Like we're all having that. So it's just not fully seen or accepted yet, but they've been measuring it.
So we can feel it, right? When somebody
Yeah.
walks in the room, or even on Zoom, you get a whole bunch of people, you can feel people's energy because they glow.
You can do all kinds of healing through Zoom.
Yes.
The only thing I haven't figured out how to do is when I wanted to work with mask making. It's very messy and people have to follow the rules. And so we're not doing it online. Do you want to start the event?
Yes, let's start the event. Let's go. The Quantum Awakening event is upon us.
So just relax. Let's take in a nice deep breath and breathe out through your mouth. And then breathe in and feel free to make sound as you breathe out. And now, as we want to go deeper, breathe in to the count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Once more, in 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, and empty 2, 3, 4. And now I want you just to relax. Just allow yourself to kind of move your energy up around your crown chakra. And notice that your crown chakra is slightly opening. And you find yourself in this beautiful field. And from way up in the universe, there's this beautiful, sparkling, liquid white light coming down to you. And it's almost there. Just allow that beautiful liquid white light to enter through your crown chakra and move down through your body. It's this sparkling, beautiful, liquid white light. It's also sort of gently wrapping around you. And you feel yourself lifting up off of the earth as this beautiful liquid white light of quantum energy is bringing you up out of the earth's gravity, out across the universe instantaneously. It's beautiful, but you're moving so fast, you almost don't know. But you can sense the beauty and feel the joy as you speed across the universe all the way to the other side, where you've never seen, never been. And as you begin to notice what's around you, it's as though there's this giant cloud structure of this beautiful liquid white light. And you move into it. You just settle yourself into this cloud, knowing that you're safe and easy, and just allow yourself to look around inside this cloud structure to this beautiful lake, also of this same liquid white light. And just allow yourself to take this in, to relax, and notice that there is another presence here. Maybe it's in this beautiful lake. Maybe it's part of the cloud that surrounds you. And you know that you're safe. You know that it's wonderful. And as you allow yourself to open to this other presence, you begin to see it form out of the same beautiful liquid white light. It may be your size, it may be 2 or 3 times bigger than you are. It doesn't matter. What you know is that you feel completely at home. You are in the oneness with creation, this creator, this energy being moves to you lovingly, caring. And you just wrap your arms around this being, this presence. You feel so at home, at one with this presence. in the middle of all of this beautiful, sparkling energy, this quantum energy, you may have a question for this presence. Feel free to ask anything. As you continue to have such a sense of oneness with this energy presence, you ask your question, or maybe it asks you a question. In this moment, this being, this presence, is your quantum self. This presence has been you as you are now, but holds everything about you as you have ever been. This quantum self has been your presence from the beginning of time. And it continues all the way through infinity. Everything that has ever been a part of your life on this planet, your life on another planet, those times in between when you're just in the quantum field, all of that is now known to you, consciously aware, consciously awake. And what I want you to know is that anytime, from any place, you can easily reconnect with your quantum self. If you have a question, if you just want to know something or have some guidance, this is the presence that knows what has happened and what is open to happening. Take another moment and be one with this energy. You may just want to hug it. You may become one within it. This is the essence of your family, yourself, your world, and your universe. Now take a minute as we prepare to return again. You may want to ask your quantum self something. You may want to connect in some way, but you are there with them always. You begin to sense this beautiful liquid white light once again, beginning to wrap around you as you're lifting up out of this cloud, beautiful cloud structure. And now you're flashing through the universe at beyond the speed of light. You enter the Earth's atmosphere. And return yourself back to Earth. And notice that you still feel that beautiful liquid white light moving through your body. Because it is your quantum self. So just take a nice deep breath and bring yourself back into this time and place.
How's everyone feeling?
I'm very curious. It's so similar to actually meeting the higher self, but it's more of like a very omniscient aspect of the self that's being presented, right? So very interesting how the quantum version of me is like huge white light that just engulfed my entire body. It's like, let me give you a hug. It's like that energy.
The visual came from my first kind of conscious connection with quantum. And I will openly say that I do like anything that sparkles. And I realized that I could, it's part of the infinite. It's part of it's my little part of it, in a sense. And when I started working with clients where I wanted them to start having a sense of quantum and the energy, it became a very good way for them to be able to kind of start breaking through things they didn't quite get at the time. So it's been fun.
So will some people grasp this concept? Do you think a majority of the people living today, say, will grasp this concept?
Could I pick out 50 people off the street who could step into this and move into this? I don't know that all of them would, but I think that with each day, we're getting a better sense of what we can do. The work these ladies are doing is amazing. The work we're doing here with this TV show is kind of amazing also. And we keep opening up options and opening up possibilities. And that's a big part of quantum, infinite possibility. There are no limitations. So if we approach a client, and I'm sure the ladies would agree, with this open mind of ours, that in this next 40 minutes, anything can happen. You're already setting the vibration, the tone in that room. And that's part of what we've come here to learn, to do, and to bring out to other people. There are several things I do in the quantum field that I used to do in a very traditional shamanic realm, which is often under the earth. And power animals used to be, you go down to Sepapu and you go down into the pond and you go down and down and down. I decided that it would be really great to find your power animal in the quantum, in the cloud, or up in the energy. And I've had a number of people who have done, either with me or with another shaman, a traditional power animal ceremony, which is wonderful, but have come back and said, you know, it feels really good to do this in a place of infinite light instead of in the core of the earth. And that's all just sort of the visual sense of it. But light is what we want more of. And the light in the quantum, as I've understood it from varying elements, is slightly different than the light we've been living with. And their light will never go out. Also makes me very happy to think about having that strength of light around us.
So the more people that become aware of this concept through shows like ours, and Kathy, I hope you're going to talk about it, and Cray, I hope you're talking about it.
Yeah.
I hope
Constantly.
our audience talks about it. So they're going to see their potential beyond the matrix that we're in, beyond the reality that we've been living in. We're born, we're raised, we work hard, we drive cars, we live in boxes, and we say goodbye to our loved ones on the way out. And then they fight about your money.
We could work on that part.
Yeah. So do you believe that more people that become aware of this, and they even just think about it in sort of their, quiet moments, do you think that there'll be a collective shift?
Well, I've mentioned to you that I've been with a conference called DEF CON, which is the world's largest hacker conference, for 25 years. I have done ceremonies on the rooftop of hotels in Las Vegas because we had a lot of people coming in who didn't fit the community and they were causing upheaval. So we did a ceremony. We dropped a barrier around the hotel. They did not show up that next weekend. And there are so many things that we can do with energy. And here are hackers coming up to me the next day and go, you were the shaman on the roof, right? Because things changed. The moment somebody gets a sense of change, they open, I think, because we want change.
So Jillian's not here to give her final comments, so I will say to our audience, thank you for hanging on. You can find Cray at hollykrey.com. That's HOLIKHREY.com. And Kathy Baldwin, unlearn the crap, or as I say, the BS, kathybaldwin.me. I would love a last word from Charel.
Welcome to the quantum.
It's a party.
It is that. Yes. It's the world we were meant to live in. And we're just understanding those pieces now.
Okay, we're on the cusp of something amazing, and we all have to keep our vibration high. If you keep vibrating, other people will start vibrating at your vibrational level, correct?
Yep.
Yep, there we go. So Thank you, everyone. Good night.